Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Gaming Droid, and welcome back to another build episode. As you can see, I'm getting together some bits and pieces, some bricks, some tanks, and some assorted other doodads, and today we're going to be building the castle. Today we're going to be building Castle Savory. Castle Savory is going to be where I'm going to end up having my mycelium, which is my mushroom growing material, and also where I'm going to end up having my mob spawner. But I want, as I said, to build things that are reasonably pretty, and I'm starting to sort of think of an idea of having stories behind them. So this is going to be Castle Savory, and Castle Savory belongs, of course, to Mr. Savory Kurt, a fellow YouTuber of mine, and in survival mode Skyblocks, this is how we build downwards. It's very, very nerve-wracking to build downwards in a skyblock. So the idea that I had was an idea of a castle. It turns out to be more of a house than a castle, but close enough. And the idea is to have a place where I can have my mob spawner, a place where I can have some mycelium growing. So I had a look at online and I found a nice simple mini castle design for YouTube. I used wood planks to build this bit because this is going to be destroyed. This is just a connection that I'm using to build it. I will then have another connection from my ship's deck as basically a gangplank. And this is just the boring bit of me putting down tons and tons of cobblestone. I decided, because I wanted this to be a bit of a sort of man-made house, there's a little sort of backstory I had in mind of Savory Kurt existing before the world was destroyed, and him and his wife escaping on an island that he made using the brown crystals, but the brown crystals drive him insane. There's a little thing that I do at the start of the next episode where I introduce the castle. But for now, it's just a case of putting down the base layer, then building the castle, then putting down the sort of dirt layer and the gravel layer on top. The whole thing of kind of building down with the water channel. Most people, when they build a skyblock, they have a flat upper platform and then they build down with a water block and they have a lower platform. Some people build out and then build up. I tend to prefer to build out and build down, just because it's more convenient to build down at certain points with certain kinds of material and to get hold of squid and things like that. The music is again something by the guy called Ben Sounds, again bensounds.com, and it's just a, what's this one called? This one is Clear Day. It's a nice little, pleasant little ditty. I've got it on repeat so that I can just continue going, because it's not massively long, but it's a nice pleasant thing. It fits in with just kind of like a general building video. So up we go. Lots and lots of buildings. I'm using a combination of black coloured brick, black coloured cobblestone, black coloured cooked stone, black coloured small brick, and also some seared brick and some seared stone, just to make a nice little variation, because it's supposed to be sort of like a semi-ruined structure, so I didn't want it all to be too similar to itself. So that's the base sort of flat tower built. And we move on to going and collecting some more materials and getting ready to build the next section of the house. A little bit more cobblestone, a bit more ink. There's a limitation on the kind of steps I can build, but I also use microblocks. So the design I was using used stairs to do the sides, but I went on and decided to use microblocks so that I could use the right colour stone. And I had a nice sort of prep time ready because, of course, I had a nice situation where the microblocks were available in this mod pack, whereas the original design was designed to be a vanilla build. So I'm just going around dropping in slabs, microblock slabs, and microblock posts, just to add a little bit of shaping at the top of the tower. Later on I go down and I add some windows and I add floors inside the tower, but for now I'm just adding a little bit of a shaped and patterned top edge, adding some crenellations, and then also of course a flag post at the top, because we all know Savory Kurt wouldn't live without a flag post. I'm running a bit low on torches, which is why I went all the way down to fetch that torch. Then I went all the way to the bottom of the tower to fetch a torch. What can I say? I was running low on torches. And that time I just fell off. And I fell off again. Oh, I'm insane. So there's my flag post, and I go and get some brown wool to put a flag on that later. Mycelium is needed for mushroom building in Skyblocks, or at least in Skyblocks that use the sort of limited access crop building style. And I wanted somewhere other than my grass farm to put mycelium, because mycelium can spread quite nastily. So I decided to put my glass farm out a little bit, and not glass farm, my grass farm and my farming area out to one side. And there we go, that's my first death of the game. I was killed by a cow. I was killed. There was a fence. There was a fence there and I got killed by a cow. I mean, what more can I say than I got killed by a cow through a fence? That's pathetically terrible. I don't really know what to say about it other than that. But on we go, on to building. I actually do some bits and pieces to deal with that in the later episode. You'll find out later on I have some throwing daggers that I make in between episodes, and I'll also armour myself because I never ever want to get killed by a cow again. I got killed by a cow. A cow! For God's sake. But, oh well. These things sometimes happen when you are playing Minecraft. I originally started putting down blocks. I realised it's going to take an awful lot of material, and to be honest, it's not going to look that good because there's not going to be much space inside the building. So instead I switch everything over to microblock slabs, and I start building a slab building. Again, I'm sort of mixing up between seared stone, coloured brick, coloured small brick, coloured stone, and coloured cobble. Using the ink that I got from my squiddy farm. I expand the platform slightly to make sure that the building's going to be large enough. I did want to build like a whole castle with 4 towers and like 3 floors, but I realised that was going to be a little bit over-ambitious for all the material I had available. I'd already ground quite hard to get hold of the ink and the seared stone and everything else that I needed for this build, let alone having to build a much larger castle. I don't want a huge mob spawner to start with anyway, so I think this size of building will be fine for my mob spawner. I'll probably start by having the mobs spawn in the tower, and I'll have like a killing area below the tower, and then later on I'll expand to have the whole building be a mob spawning farm, with a little bit of tweaking and editing to the sort of like light levels and the windows and things like that. And the next section of this video is just going to be me putting down wall. So enjoy the music while I build a wall. So this is the flag that I build. I later on find out that that's actually a mob spawner, because the top of the flag is a unlit block. And you can see that I've got the first sort of layer of my build built up. This is where I build my ranged weapons. At first I try and build a javelin, but I then find out that the javelin needs heavy tool rods, which can't be made out of wood. So I try making some tool rods, I try turning it into a javelin using tool rods, but then I find out that it doesn't accept tool rods, it has to be heavy tool rods. So instead I go for some throwing knives. I go for a flint tip throwing knife with a wooden stick to start. They're pretty decent actually. I mean, flint tipped with a wooden rod is actually strong enough to kill most passive mobs in a single hit, which is pretty impressive really. Like one hit. So it's reasonably impressive that it can kill a passive mob in a single hit. And that's without any specialist materials. Like I could have made an aluminium, was it alamite? An alamite or an obsidian one, which would have done a lot more damage. I could have made an invar one. Later on I do put invar rod on so that I've got more daggers, because basically the resilience of the material is what determines how many daggers you have to throw. So later on I'll replace the dagger with or the stick with a invar one, and that will give me a much more sturdy rod. So now I'm using a mixture of slabs and posts to build a gateway and build the sort of crenellations around the top of the building, and then I'm going to use some white brick panels to fill the top of the building in. And this is just the case for sort of all the way around. Still varying up the stone I use, but I'm just going to be building all the way around. For this corner I decided to do a double crenellation corner, like that. And then for the other corner I decided to make a sort of a stepped out platform. So basically a platform that reaches out away from the building, which you'll see me put together in a little bit. I make a slight mistake there because I've actually lined it up with the stone, rather than doing what I did with the other section, which was to have it go one about out from the stone. I have to make a little cube to make it fit. There we go, little cube. And that's my sort of supported corner, that's my little balcony corner. I just use dirt to go up and down for the most part, because it's easy to dig and easy to drop, sort of easy to put down, easy to pick up sort of thing. Some more crenellation, and some more betweeny bits for the crenellation. And I will then move on to putting together the roof. So finish off the crenellations, again do the same sort of double crenellated corner as I did here. Just expanded those crenellations slightly. So you can see that the corners vary up slightly, and I was just playing about and trying some different things. In the meantime, I've been sort of contacting some people about different games and things that I can get hold of. So there's some more games over on my free-to-play and Legion series, and also I've been getting ready to set up a new short campaign in the D&D that I do over on ToadNet. This is me trying to set up a gate. As you can see, it doesn't turn out very nice. I wanted to put colour style thing, so in the end I resorted to the grates from the, what's it called? Custom NPCs, I think it might be. Agricraft, actually. So it's from Agricraft. So I take the grates and I use them. I tried to make it a double thickness, but it just didn't want to do two downwards on the same half slab. A few great windows, just to a few great windows just to give it something to sort of a little bit of ventilation and light on the inside, maybe. I just thought they looked nice. And this is the whole thing, is I'm just trying to make the builds I do look nice rather than be hyper efficient. I start to get my eye in with the throwing daggers as well, and I start to get better at them. I quite like throwing daggers. I've decided as far as the Tinker's advanced Tinker's weaponry goes, the throwing daggers is one of the nicer things to put together and use. So, just cooking up some stone and getting some bits and pieces finished for making white stone, because I'm going to roof it off in white stone. Again, I cut them into slabs and then into panels, more to save stone or to save manufacturing than anything else. With the micro blocks in place, it's one of the things where it's actually really efficient to use slabs and panels, because you can walk on panels without any issue, and you don't have to worry about like being able to put items on top of them, because as long as they're on the top of the block space, then you can treat them exactly the same as you would treat the top of the normal block. You can't treat the underside the same, because of course the underside's in the wrong place, but you're saving an awful lot of materials by building with panels instead of building with slabs or building with blocks. So I resort to them as a way of saving time and effort. I need a little bit more stone, a little bit more white stone, so I'm going to pop up and grab some more of that. If you like the videos, if you like the series, please like and subscribe. It does do a massive amount towards supporting me and the channel, and it does tell me that you like the stuff. Without any likes or subscribes coming from this video, then it just means that no one's interested, and I'm less likely to do this sort of content in the future. And then I build a staircase. And I go through a few different variations of the staircase. At first I try and build a sort of stick staircase, but I can't climb it. I then try and build a sort of double wide stick staircase, but then it doesn't line up properly, and I don't like the fact that I have to cut the brick down. So in the end I just decide to go with a post staircase, which means taking everything down and starting over again with some posts. So there's some posts, and I start out and I'm just going to build and I like this because it allows you to build like a constant staggered staircase rather than having to build a staircase that is invertedly sort of half staggered because of the way the stair blocks are built. So it's nice to have like a nice constant stagger staircase like that. And this is where I realised that I've built everything assuming that the height I am standing at is going to be the floor, but actually I'm going to be putting down the stone floor, and I'm going to be putting down the gravel and the dirt outside, so I actually have to move all the windows and things one upwards, because that's where the new ground floor is going to be. Because, you know, we all have dirt moments sometimes. Grab some more dirt and some more gravel and head off to finish that up. And we're coming near the end of the build. So that's the me going off to get some dirt, but I got some dirt from the trees. I finished the gravel and the dirt around the outside. I forgot to turn the record on. Some salt in some chests to go with the storyline that you'll see during the episode. And then I need to get rid of this, which I use a flint and steel to set it all on fire. I forgot to record the bit where I cut down the trees and I finished putting down the dirt, but it's literally just me putting down dirt. That's all it is I drop dirt and gravel around the outside and stone on the inside to make the floor. Set fire to that, set fire to that one. And then I have to go up and set fire to the bits at the top. And this is me almost at the end. There's my planking that I'm going to be using to go across. Set fire and retreat, set fire and retreat, and delete. There we go. And that's been the Savoury Castle build, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!